Hello. Happy Friday, everyone. Some people use the phrase brutally honest like it's a leadership credential. I'm just being brutally honest. Okay, but have you considered being helpfully honest or clearly honest? How about emotionally house trained honest? Because honesty does not need brutality to be effective, and cruelty does not become kindness just because the sentence contains some accurate information. Welcome to Kindness Rising. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Another Friday in the loop with Adam Holroyd. Holroyd, good to see you out there. Sully, glad you're here with me to this Friday morning, getting up and getting after it. We're going to finish the joke story and how it really ended in terms of my learning from my father from the joke story. We're gonna do a what happened. Wait, that happened today. A who in the world. All of the stuff that we do every day. It's gonna be an interesting one. I love our who in the world today. Just classic Gen X icon. Although I think technically a boomer for Gen X. This person is an icon. Absolutely. All right. Good morning. Good morning, Roseanne. My mother is here. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to keep the conversation going too with the brutally honest discussion. You don't have to be brutally honest. You can be compassionately clear. How about that? Cruelty does not become kindness just because the sentence contains accurate information. Absolutely. But don't forget that at the same time, avoiding the truth isn't kindness either. Telling someone everything looks great when absolutely nothing looks great, that doesn't really protect them, and it just pushes the disappointment out to later. Yeah. So the question is, how do we use truth without using it as a weapon, and how do we challenge someone while making it clear we still believe in them? How do we care about someone enough not to lie to them? That is where we'll finish this week. Today's theme: honest doesn't mean harmful. So let's rise together. Jess is in the house saying hi to Mike. All right. I am so happy everybody's here. It is a Friday, finally Friday, I guess, for some. My loop just continues. Holroyd, you know about that, right? Setting those daily starts, starting your day the same way. Getting off to early habits. Just a Sunday is the same as a Saturday as far as that goes. Okay, that's why we're here every weekday morning for sure. I don't go live on the weekends, but I do all the other things associated with my waking schedule. Good morning, everyone. How's your day going, JD Luxy? JD Luxy in the house. Welcome. This is the place to be, JD Luxy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Say hi to Jess. Say hi to Mike. We are here waking up with a little bit more kindness, a little bit less rage bait, and more high fives for humanity. And now I will continue with the joke story, the final chapter. Dun, dun, dun. Here comes some tunes to back me. I gotta have backing music. All right. So you guys know, all week long we've been returning to that moment from my childhood. I was 12, an aspiring comedian. I was sneaking downstairs, Mom. Yep. Or maybe you knew I was going down. I don't know. But Saturday Night Live, the comic strip live, Robin Williams, Steve Martin, all the grown-up humor that I could possibly absorb through my basement television. And I developed what I believe was my first solid piece of stand-up material. And so I took it to my dad, the person whose laugh really mattered to me. I found him at the end of a work day and I delivered my joke, my adult joke. Yeah, for sure I did. I'm Sorry, hang on one second. Little distracting. There it is. Sorry. I delivered that joke. Are you ready for the joke? Hey, Dad, did you hear Ronald McDonald got fired today? He got caught with his Big Mac in Wendy's hot and juicy. Big Mac hot and juicy. Dad just stood up and stared and cleared his throat and said, Matt, no, I don't get it, and I wouldn't repeat it because I don't think anyone else will, and you wouldn't want to sound stupid. That was it. Whoa, okay. I just bombed my first performance, and at 12, I heard that as rejection. I'm not funny. I didn't hear I'm stupid, but I heard you're not funny, and don't do that. But those weren't his actual words. That was my translation. As I grew older, I started looking at the moment differently. Maybe he wasn't judging the comedian. Maybe he was judging the material. Maybe he was teaching me to know my audience because he understood that a fake laugh might feel good for 30 seconds, but it could send me into the world when something wasn't ready yet. But I still didn't understand the whole story. Not at all. Did not understand the whole story. And here's where the story ends. Not until decades later. Near the end of my father's life, we started doing what families do when time's becoming more precious. We told stories and we returned to memories and we laughed at moments that once felt painful and now seemed almost sacred. And Dad brought up the joke. Not me. He remembered it, word for word, decades later. The Big Mac, Wendy's hot and juicy, the stare, the advice, all of it. And then he told me something that I never expected. He considered that conversation to be his single greatest parenting achievement. Yep. Not the career milestones, not the graduations, not the impressive moments that hang on the wall. The joke. Because in that moment, my dad believed he saw something in me. And his job, as he understood it, was not to applaud everything I did. His job was to help me develop the gift. He was telling me, know your audience, pay attention to how the material lands. You have something here, but not yet. And here's the real part that changed the memory for me. He told me that every time he repeated the joke, he laughed. Every single time. He had not forgotten it. He had not stopped finding it funny. He had never been ashamed. At 12, I experienced his words as rejection, but decades later, I finally saw that there was love inside that redirect. Was the delivery perfect? Absolutely not. It was the 80s. My father wasn't standing around with radical candor cards and AI advice on parenting. But the relationship was real and the belief was real. Yeah, there was a sting in that initial message that I couldn't yet understand. But what it was, really, underneath all of it, I see something in you and I believe you can do better. Once in a while, you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right. Sometimes that strange place is a terrible joke. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable conversation. And sometimes the light's been there for 40 years, just waiting for you to see it. That's the story. All right. A little racy. Yeah, I get it. And I should maybe put in a warning about it. But the point of it isn't the racy joke. The point of it is the inappropriateness of the racy joke at 12 and the redirect and the advice from my father and the story of 40 years later. So I appreciate, Mike, I thought about that deeply, right? Like as I'm building here, as I'm leading, is this something I want to put out there? But you know what? If I knew it at 12, I think we can handle it. I'm not doing it in a way that's trying to be anything but adult here. Absolutely. I appreciate you, Mike. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a healthy dose of reality. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's get to our who in the world, because I know that's what really everybody is saying somebody really likes a flag or something. I don't know what it is that's showing up in the chat there, but okay. It's time. It's time for today's mystery person clue. Am I supposed to know what the flag is from, though? I apologize. I've said it before. I love trivia, geography, flags, maps, all those things. I don't know them. Here's the thing. I welcome all people who are kind and want to be here for interest, no matter where you're from, no matter what your political stripes, your religious stripes, your racial, whatever. So teach me, what flag is that? I don't know, but you're obviously proud of it. So cool. That's awesome. All right, let's get to our clue. Who in the world am I? Here's our first clue. Do we know this? This person played a TV doctor with a nickname that sounded more like a breakfast cereal mascot. Dr. Snapper Foster. Dr. Snapper Foster. Do we know the name? Anybody recognize it? An early role for our who in the world are we talking about today? And let us move on. Let us get this music off here. And we're going to put different music on because that's what we're doing. We're rolling into as we do our kindness spotlight. Maybe. Here it comes. Today's kindness spotlight is an organization called Speak Up. Speak Up works with young people, families, schools, and communities to create spaces where teenagers can talk honestly about the things happening in their lives. Not just the easy subjects, the difficult ones, the stress, anxiety, relationships, pressures, substance use, all of it, family. The concerns young people sometimes carry quietly because they're not sure which adult is safe enough to tell. Speak Up creates school-based, youth-led programs where young people identify the topics that matter to them, and adults are invited into the conversation too. Speak Up helps create a different kind of conversation, one where young people can speak without fear of judgment, absolutely, and where adults practice hearing what is actually being said before rushing to fix, correct, or act. That is Speak Up, because when people believe honesty will cost them a relationship, they hide. But when they believe the relationship can hold the truth, they speak. And that is how conversation rises, for sure. All right. Welcome. How is everybody doing now? We're still doing good. We got to get to our weight. That happened today, and I'm just realizing that my regular drink is not in front of me. I'm going to drink out of my crappy old plastic cup because my mouth is dry. Okay, no problem. Fridays. I'm sorry, I went back. I saw something in the comments. Hey, Caffey the donkey is here. Welcome, Caffey. I am so glad you are here. You've arrived just in time for our wait that happened today. You guys been to Disneyland? The one in Anaheim, California? Not that, those guys. Disneyland, the one out in Anaheim, California, in 1955. Today was the day. A new kind of amusement park, not simply a collection of rides, a place that was built around story and where families could enter different worlds together. Today, Disneyland is so woven into popular culture that it can feel inevitable. But in 1955, it was actually an enormous gamble. It was built over roughly a year on former orange groves. The opening was broadcast live on television. Cameras were everywhere. People were watching, and almost everything that could go wrong did. Thousands of people arrived with counterfeit invitations. The crowd got way bigger than organizers expected. Traffic backed up for miles. The temperature climbed over 100 degrees. And it was reported that women's high heels were sinking into freshly laid asphalt. Some of the attractions broke down. I mean, it sounds like a nightmare, right? A gas leak that forced part of the park to close. And there was a plumber strike going on. So Disney had to choose between completing working restrooms or working drinking fountains. He chose the restrooms. My guess is that probably was the right call. But I'm thinking that this was not the happiest place on earth on that day. It actually became known in Disney history as Black Sunday. And why does it matter? Because opening day was an undeniable mess. But it definitely wasn't the end of the idea. And Disneyland did not survive because Walt Disney pretended everything had gone perfectly. The problems had to be fixed and things had to be improved. The gap between the vision and the actual guest experience had to be addressed. And that's where today's lesson comes in. Honest feedback is not the enemy of the dream. Sometimes it's what saves the dream. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Enough of wait that happened today, right? I'm just Disneyland opened to the general public the following day. Oh, okay, got it. Yep. All right. So that's it. That's the story. That's the story of Disneyland. Enough of that. I want to say hi to Saku 60 Sam. I want Saku 60 Sam to know we're here. We're here every single weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, to wake up with a little bit more high fives for humanity. Everyone out there, subscribe to the channel. Come join us. Come guess our Who in the World contest on a daily basis. Learn something about history that happened during the day and build a little humanity and heart around it. And get involved in the content or in the chat. There's some really, really good people in here. People like Jess and Mike Sullivan and Kathy the Donkey, who are here every single day. Adam Holroyd, Roseanne. These are the people making this community, and you should come join us. I'd love to shout you out. I'd love to hear about what you're doing in your world. Help you to grow too, because that's what we're here. We're here to do it together. Subscribe to the channel, say hello, and stick around for even more joy here on Kindness Rising. All right, more kindness on Kindness Rising. Let's get to our second clue. But first, a review of our first clue for those who weren't here for this. People join us throughout the show. They got to stick around. This dude played a TV doctor with the name that sounded like a breakfast cereal, Dr. Snapper Foster. Clue number two. His song, Looking for Freedom, became a political anthem, but not in the USA. Looking for Freedom, a political anthem not in the USA, and Dr. Snappa-Foster. That's how my friends from Boston would say it. Hey, Snappa-Foster. Hey, you know Dr. Snappa-Foster? Anyway, ridiculous. That's it. Those are our first two clues. We'll get to our third clue in just a moment. But first, let's talk a little bit about healthy feedback and why healthy feedback requires two things that are often separated but really vital. We talked about it earlier in the week. There's a little bit of a review. It's that candor and care, right? Candor means saying what is truly clearly enough to be useful, but care means remembering there's a human being receiving it. When candor exists without care, feedback becomes really harsh. I'm just being honest. But the message is delivered with contempt or embarrassment or unnecessary force. Then the goal becomes to look less like growth and more like I'm going to win. That's not courageous leadership. On the other side, care without candor creates a different problem altogether. We want to protect someone's feelings. We want to soften the message, then soften it again. Then wrap it in compliments and qualifiers and disclaimers and emotional bubble wrap. The person leaves thinking everything's fine. The leader leaves frustrated that nothing changes. And eventually the person hears, everybody has known about this problem for 6 months. That's not care. That's delayed honesty. Healthy feedback sounds like this. I care about you enough to tell you the truth. And I respect you enough not to humiliate you while I do it. What? How about this part of the work is not meeting the standard yet? Let's look at what needs to change. How about when you interrupted several times during the meeting, people started contributing? People stopped contributing, excuse me. I know that was probably not your intention, but it was the impact. Specific, direct, and human. Feedback should describe behavior, work, or impact, not reduce someone to an identity. Like, you're careless. How about 3 important details we're missing? Or you're a bad communicator. How about that recommendation was difficult to follow because we lost the main point? When the feedback becomes specific, the person has something they can use. When it's personal, they have something they have to defend. And the goal is not to make every difficult conversation painless. The growth can be uncomfortable. Accountability can sting, but discomfort is not the same as harm. Honest feedback says this needs to change. Hurtful feedback says there's something wrong with you. The research tells us what's true. Without a net helps us put it to work. That's our topic for today. That was based on the work of radical candor. Absolutely. To Dr. Snapper Foster. I'm going to get in my car and drive to Dr. Snapper Foster. I'm going to drive. He's in Harvard. He's a Harvard doctor, Snapper Foster. Anyway, terrible Boston accent. I'm a Yankees fan. I don't really follow Boston. All right. Moving right along. Let's make our conversation just a little practical, though. Before giving yourself feedback, it's a good thing to give yourself feedback, but also before giving someone else feedback, you might want to ask yourself some questions. What am I hoping this conversation accomplishes? That's really it. What am I trying to get? What do I want them to improve? Am I trying to clarify expectations or repair a relationship? Sometimes we call it feedback when what we really mean is, I've been annoyed for 3 days and now you're going to experience it all at once. That rarely goes well. The truth may need to be spoken, but it does not need to be delivered at the emotional temperature of the moment. That's true. Yep. Here's another way to think about it. Can I help describe the issue without defining the person? Again, there's an enormous difference between you are unreliable and you missed the last 2 deadlines without letting anyone know. One is a character judgment. The other is observable information. One invites a defensive argument about identity, and the other creates a conversation about behavior and impact and expectations. That's what we're trying to get to. And does this person know that I believe in their ability to improve? It doesn't require empty compliments or lies, it just requires making your intention clear. I know you can do better than this. I'm raising this because your work matters. I want to help you succeed. We want to help you address this. We're going to work through it together. Feedback becomes easier to receive when people understand that correction is not expulsion. The relationship is not being withdrawn. Yeah. That's what I finally understood about my father. He was not saying you don't have a voice. He was saying you have a voice, but I believe it deserves better material. At 12, I didn't hear the second half, but it was there. And perhaps that's the real work of speaking truth with love, making the care visible. Don't assume people know. Leaders often say things like, they know I value them. Do they? Have you told them? Have your actions demonstrated it? Are you relying on them to translate criticism through a relationship that has received very few visible deposits? Truth lands differently when people know the speaker is actually invested in their success. Absolutely. That is the key. Are you invested in a person's success? That's when feedback is essential. Because remember, feedback is not something that we do to people. It's a conversation we have with people. Absolutely. The Grateful Dead understood it. The Grateful understood that back and forth. I'm going to connect it back to the Grateful Dead. I got to say it, right? Yeah. When Jerry kind of fell off, he was getting older, right? and had some drug issues. We all know about him. The other musicians didn't stop the performance and go, Jerry, you're off, or that was a terrible solo. What happened? Where are you? The bass line just shifted, the drum line shifted, the guitar created space. Yep. That's the idea. That's the idea that was lived in the Grateful Dead's world for our subject. Okay. Enough with that. Because I can see. Thanks, Sully. I appreciate you. Yes, it was a defining moment. Absolutely. A defining moment early in life and a defining moment to have that and to have that opportunity. I talked about it with Keith the other day. To have that, I had 9 months with my father after he knew he was nearing the end. Really, nine really good solid months. And that was something that happened during that time. I'm blessed to have had that. Absolutely. All right. Clue number 1. Let's get a clue. Switching gears. My father would be laughing at this. He played a TV doctor with a name that sounded like a breakfast cereal. And in Boston, they know him as Dr. Snapper Foster. He had a song, Looking for Freedom, and it became a political anthem, but not in the U.S. Anybody? I'll tell you before I give the final clue, that political anthem was in Germany. He became a musical star in Germany, an unexpected musical star in Germany during the fall of the Berlin Wall. That song became associated with it. And lastly, the last clue that'll give it all away to anybody who's paying attention. Who am I talking about? A talking car in a red bathing suit made him a household name, but so did a late night cheeseburger. David Hasselhoff is the answer. Jess rolled in with Hasselhoff. Did you know it from the final clue? Which clue gave it to you? Did you know it because of he became a German music star? The Hoff. All right. The Hoff is today 74. Wow, I said that really loud. The Hoff is 74 today. Doesn't seem possible, right? I'm not sure I want to see him in a red bikini. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. God, Baywatch. That was a big deal, right, guys? Was it a big deal for anybody else? Yep. All right. So I gave you your clue. Now I have to give you your compass, and then we'll close it out. It's time to fly here. All right. This is Candor with Care. Today's kindness compass. 3 ways to tell the truth without turning it into a weapon. First, lower the temperature, not the truth. Don't soften the message until it disappears, but do give yourself enough time to speak without dumping your frustration onto the other person. Clear does not have to mean cruel. Secondly, describe, don't label. Talk about the behavior, the work, the decision, the impact. Avoid reducing the person to words like lazy, difficult, careless, unprofessional. Labels close people down, but specific observations give them something that they can address. And lastly, number 3, make your belief visible. Tell the person why you're raising the issue. I know you can do better. This matters because your contribution matters. Don't assume the care is obvious. Say it. Lower the temperature without lowering the truth. Describe the behavior without defining the person, and make your belief visible. That is today's kindness compass. All right. The Hoffman. The song gave it away. You remember him singing it at the wall, Jess. Okay. Cool. Yeah, the song. Yep. All right. Yep, that is the Hoff. We remember him from Baywatch and the song and the late night cheeseburger. I remember the late night cheeseburger. Does anybody else? I've mentioned it a couple times. I thought that would get a rise. Yeah, unfortunately, I think there was a time in life when David, I don't know where he's at now, actually, but there was a time in life where he struggled with the drink, and his daughter filmed him after a late night binge, eating a cheeseburger on the kitchen floor, hammered out of his mind. And it was kind of an eye-opening moment for him, his rock bottom, if you want to say that. All right. That's it. It's 8 o'clock. Holy shnikes. 8 o'clock. We got to get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. Professor John Petrocelli will be there with BS or no BS. I saw the topic and I was intrigued, but then I've already forgotten what it is. So, geez Louise. It's a good one, though. Check it out. I should have written it down. I did see it. Yes, thank you, Jess. But before we go, I'll pull it together real quick. Absolutely. This is the thread. We began Monday with a 12-year-old comedian telling a terrible joke. He wanted one thing, his father's laugh. Instead, he received an honest a redirect. At 12, he heard rejection, and we've looked again at it all week long. But the end game is my father knew something that I wouldn't know later, that artificial harmony would not help me grow. The truth had been held inside love the entire time. He revealed that at the end of his life to me, and he showed me those lessons that I've learned, that speaking truth with love, to trust before truth, to look for the light, to translate the meaning, and reject artificial harmony, because kindness isn't soft. Kindness is a strategy. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a method. And psychological safety isn't a poster on the wall, it's a daily practice. Thank you for joining me all week long. I'll be back next Monday, of course, on Monday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on Kindness Rising, where we'll keep the conversation going and the community alive. Thank you, Kindness Crew. Jess, Mike, Polaroid, Kathy, Roseanne, the whole entire crew. Have a great weekend. I'll see you Monday. Until then, stay uncommon and stay kind.